So the triangle angle sum theorem, like I was just saying, all triangles, no matter what triangles I draw, so I can draw any triangles I want here, and I can draw a nice big wide one. Doesn't matter how I draw a triangle, the angles of a triangle have to add up to 180 degrees. So that's what the triangle angle sum theorem says. Okay, so this is a little animation. I was going to try to do it on my other screen, but it's not working nicely. So we have a triangle here, and they're showing us the three angles of a triangle, so we can see red, blue, and green. And then they're giving us this straight line, which is a linear angle. And a linear angle adds up to 180 degrees. We've dealt with that quite a few times. So this little animation is just showing us that if we take those three angles that we just had within here, they completely fill up this 180 degrees. So it's just kind of a visual way that we can see. They add up to 180 degrees, and you can do this with any triangle. So anytime you draw a triangle, as long as they're nice straight lines like this, you could actually cut away the angles and form a linear angle with them, or a straight line. So it's just one of those little pieces that you can definitely test out if you wanted to. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this guy. And I'm going to refresh the screen because for some reason it wouldn't let me do this on my own screen. I don't know why it stopped letting me cut away the angles. Being argumentative with my program there. Oh, let me turn off the lasso tool. That would probably help. Okay, so now that we know that they add up to 180 degrees, and we've kind of seen the little proof on that, or the reason, is we're just going to go ahead and apply that. If x plus 38 plus 92 equals 180 degrees, we're just going to say x plus 38 plus 92 equals 180 degrees. So we're going to add these two together. So we get 8 plus 2 is 10, 9 plus 3 is 12, plus one more is 13. So we get x plus 130 equals 180. And now to solve for x, I just need to move this 130 away, so I'm just going to subtract 130 away. And in this way, too, what we're doing is we're taking the 180 that we know this is our limit. This is what they have to add up to. And I'm subtracting away what I'm already using. I'm already using 130 degrees of that. So what's left over? That's basically the question we're asking here. What's left over of the 180 degrees that I know they have to add up to? So in this case, it would be 50 degrees. That's all that's left over for that x, for that angle there. So I'm going to click check. And ta-da! All right. Now we're going to look at the exterior angle theorem, and I do think we prove this in a little bit. And I'm going to be a little bit lazy with this one. Instead of drawing it, I'm going to steal a picture of it. There it is. Drop it in there like that. So I don't have to redraw it again. I mean, this one's pretty darn easy to draw, but I'm just being a little lazy with it. All right. So with this one, the exterior angle theorem states that this angle here adds up to the two remote or opposite angles in interior angle. Sorry, I forgot the word interior. And again, this works off of linear angles and the triangle angle sum theorem. So that's where this comes from. And I do believe on one of these questions we prove this. So again, these guys have to add up to 180 degrees, all three of these angles here. And then if I switch over and I look at this linear angle here, they have to add up to 180 degrees because a linear angle or a straight line is 180 degrees. So if I notice this blue section here and this red section here are the same angle. So if I'm adding the same thing to 133 to get 180, or I'm adding the same thing to these two angles to get 180, then they must be equal to each other. These must add up to the same as 133 if I'm adding the same thing to them. So it's kind of one of those little bit of logic, like following that around a little bit. So we can use this triangle or exterior angle theorem to just say 31 plus x has to equal the 133. Because no matter what, I would add the same thing to this, whatever this one is here, which I could pretty easily find if I wanted to, using that 180 degrees idea. I'd have to add the exact same thing to 133 or 31 plus x to get the 180. So we're kind of just ignoring it a little bit there. And so now we're just going to subtract 31 because I want to know what x needs to be. So 31 minus 31 cancels, and we get 1, 0, 2. So 102 degrees for x here. And then if you of course there's more than one way to do this in geometry. Once we get to these triangles and these different theorems or the proofs, there's always more than one way to look at it. So I could very well go through and I could have found what this question mark is here. What is this angle? And then once I know what this one is, I could use the triangle angle sum theorem to fill in what this one was. So this just saves us a step. It's one equation as opposed to two, but either way, you would have arrived at the exact same amount, which is 102. 102 degrees. All right.